Welcome back to another video. Today, we're exploring the world of gaming endings and discussing some of the most disappointing conclusions. Get ready for a journey through the highs and lows of game finales. Let's dive in. Back in 2012, Assassin's Creed 3 hit the scene and took us on this epic journey through the American Revolution. It had all these cool new game mechanics, a huge open world to explore, and a historical backdrop that got everyone hyped up. But did it drop the ball when it came to the ending? You've been sneaking around, taking out targets, and unraveling all these secrets for hours on end. The tension is through the roof as you get closer to the climax. But instead of a satisfying resolution that ties everything up nicely, they hit us with this weird and underwhelming ending. It left us scratching our heads, wondering what the heck just happened and if we missed something crucial along the way. The biggest problem with Assassin's Creed 3's ending is that it's all convoluted and confusing. They throw in new characters and concepts that feel totally disconnected from the rest of the game. So you're left sitting there, trying to piece together these random plot twists and feeling like you're missing something. It's frustrating, to say the least. And to make matters worse, they left a bunch of storylines and character arcs hanging in the air. We invested so much time and effort into the game, expecting a satisfying conclusion to Connor Kenway's journey. But instead, we got this rushed ending that left us hanging. We wanted closure, damn it. The disappointment with Assassin's Creed 3's ending goes beyond just being confused. It made us question the whole direction of the story, the way they told it, and how our choices throughout the game actually mattered. It felt like our investment didn't pay off, and that's a real bummer. At the end of the day, Assassin's Creed 3 had so much potential. The historical setting was awesome, and the gameplay was engaging. But that lackluster ending just overshadowed everything. We wanted a more coherent and rewarding finale to our adventure, but unfortunately, we didn't get it. Released in 2018, Far Cry 5 thrust players into the fictional world of Hope County, Montana, where they confronted a fanatical cult known as the Project at Eden's Gate. While the game offered an expansive open world and intense action, its endings left players divided and dissatisfied. As you delved deeper into the world of Far Cry 5, you encountered memorable characters, engaged in thrilling firefights, and fought to liberate Hope County from the cult's grip. The stage was set for a climactic showdown, and players eagerly awaited a satisfying resolution to the narrative. However, what players got was a series of endings that veered from their expectations and left them questioning the journey they had embarked upon. The endings presented a jarring twist that challenged traditional narrative conventions and subverted player assumptions. This departure from a more conventional resolution left many feeling bewildered and unsatisfied. One of the primary criticisms of Far Cry 5's endings was their lack of closure and the sense of an unresolved narrative. The unconventional nature of the endings, although intended to be thought-provoking and open to interpretation, left players wanting more concrete answers. The ambiguity and lack of clarity surrounding the fate of the characters and the consequences of their actions left a lingering sense of confusion. The endings were seen by some as a missed opportunity to explore the themes and ideas introduced throughout the game. The complex portrayal of cults, faith, and the nature of belief seemed poised for a thought-provoking and impactful conclusion. However, the endings failed to fully capitalize on these themes, leaving players feeling unfulfilled. The divisive endings of Far Cry 5 sparked passionate discussions and debates among the player community. The desire for a more definitive resolution and a greater sense of closure became a focal point of criticism and reflection on the game's narrative direction. Ultimately, Far Cry 5's endings serve as a reminder of the risks and rewards that come with deviating from established storytelling norms. While some players appreciated the departure from convention and the opportunity for interpretation, others yearned for a more definitive and conclusive ending that would have provided a stronger emotional payoff to their journey through Hope County. Halo 2, released in 2004, burst onto the scene and rocked the gaming world. Fans were pumped to continue the sci-fi saga with improved gameplay and an epic multiplayer experience. But when it came to the ending, things didn't quite hit the mark. After thrilling firefights, mind-blowing alien worlds, and a heart-pounding mission as Master Chief, players eagerly approached the climax of Halo 2, yearning for a satisfying resolution to the conflict against the Covenant. Regrettably, what they received was a perplexing and underwhelming ending. Instead of a grand finale that wraps everything up nicely, you're left scratching your head and feeling kinda let down. The story takes this weird turn that leaves you more confused than satisfied. It's like they forgot to connect the dots. One of the primary criticisms of Halo 2's ending lies in its confusing nature. New story elements were introduced without proper explanation, leaving players struggling to make sense of sudden plot shifts. The absence of a clear narrative thread left players longing for a more coherent and understandable resolution. Furthermore, important storylines and character arcs were left unresolved. Players had invested significant time and emotional energy into the game, expecting a fulfilling conclusion to Master Chief's journey and the fate of his allies. Unfortunately, the ending failed to deliver the closure and resolution fans had hoped for, leaving them wanting more. Naturally, the disappointing ending of Halo 2 sparked widespread disappointment and a desire for a more satisfying conclusion. It ignited passionate debates and fueled speculation within the gaming community. Players dissected the ambiguous ending, piecing together theories and interpretations to make sense of the unresolved elements. While Halo 2's ending may have left players yearning for a stronger finale, it also served as a catalyst for discussion and reflection on the impact of storytelling in gaming. Developers have since responded by expanding upon the lore and addressing some of the lingering questions in subsequent games and expanded media, aiming to provide the closure and clarity that fans have long sought. In 2008, Fallout 3 brought players into a post-apocalyptic world filled with danger, exploration, and moral dilemmas. As the lone wanderer, you ventured through the wasteland, encountering unique characters and shaping the fate of the capital wasteland. However, it was the game's ending that left a lasting impact on players, generating both awe and disappointment. As you approached the final moments of Fallout 3, you had experienced the harsh realities of the wasteland, navigated treacherous factions, and made life-altering choices that shaped the future of this desolate world. The weight of your decisions and the anticipation of a meaningful resolution hung in the air. Yet, when the ending finally arrived, it was a mixed bag of emotions for players. While Fallout 3 offered multiple endings, each tied to the player's choices and alliances, they were criticized for feeling abrupt and lacking in depth. One of the main criticisms of Fallout 3's endings was their lack of clarity and closure. The outcomes of major storylines and the impact of your choices often felt rushed and poorly explained, leaving players questioning the consequences of their actions. This left a sense of dissatisfaction, as players yearned for a more satisfying understanding of how their decisions shaped the future of the wasteland. Some players felt that the endings didn't adequately address the complex moral and ethical dilemmas presented throughout the game. Fallout 3 grappled with themes of sacrifice, survival, and the pursuit of power, but the endings failed to provide a nuanced exploration of these themes. This left players wanting deeper reflections on the consequences of their actions and the ethical implications of their choices. In response to the players' feedback, Bethesda, the developer of Fallout 3, released downloadable content and expansions that expanded upon the game's narrative and provided additional closure for certain storylines. These updates aim to address some of the concerns raised by players and offer a more satisfying resolution to their post-apocalyptic journey. Mass Effect 3, released in 2012, was the highly anticipated conclusion to an epic sci-fi trilogy. With its intricate storytelling, expansive universe, and impactful player choices, it had the potential for a remarkable ending. However, it was the game's conclusion that left many fans disappointed. As players approached the final moments of Mass Effect 3, they had formed deep connections with a diverse cast of characters, made difficult decisions, and fought against the impending Reaper threat. However, the game's ending fell short of expectations, failing to provide a satisfying resolution to the trilogy. One of the primary criticisms of Mass Effect 3's ending was the perceived lack of player agency and the disregard for the choices made throughout the series. Players felt that their decisions had little impact on the final outcome, which undermined the sense of agency they had been led to believe they possessed. Additionally, the ending of Mass Effect 3 introduced new elements that felt disjointed and disconnected from the established narrative. The sudden introduction of concepts and plot twists left players bewildered and searching for coherence. The lack of a clear explanation or closure on various storylines and character arcs added to the dissatisfaction. The disappointment with Mass Effect 3's ending triggered a significant backlash among the fanbase. It sparked heated debates, petitions, and discussions within the gaming community about the impact of player choices, narrative consistency, and the need for a more fulfilling conclusion that honored the investment made in the trilogy. In response to the backlash, BioWare, the developer of Mass Effect, released downloadable content and patches to address some of the concerns raised by players. These updates aim to provide additional context and closure, attempting to bridge the gap between the original ending and the desires of the fanbase. Ultimately, Mass Effect 3 will be remembered for its captivating journey, memorable characters, and the impact it had on the gaming industry. However, its controversial ending will forever be a reminder of the delicate balance developers face in crafting finales that satisfy the expectations and desires of a passionate fanbase.